What's going on YouTube, 0088 here, and we are going to check out the Critical Drinkers latest video. Will 2025 be the year of Marvel flops? Let's check this out.
One of the things I actually appreciated about 2024 is that it was a pretty quiet year for Marvel projects. Yeah, Deadpool and Wolverine made a splash in the summer, and Echo kind of fell on deaf ears. But a combination of industry strikes the previous year, plus various production problems and delays as projects were retooled and reshot, all combined together to give us a welcome break from an MCU that had become kind of tedious and overwhelming. But just like that turd that you've been desperately holding in for a little too long, sooner or later the backlog of MCU content was gonna come blasting out into the world once again. And 2025 looks set to be the year where Marvel ruin a perfectly good pair of Calvin Kleins. I'm using so many fecal analogies here, partly because I'm an immature dick and it makes me laugh. But mostly because after reviewing the lineup of upcoming projects, I think 2025 is going to go down as the year where Marvel really did shit their pants at the box office. Allow me to illuminate you. Their first big cinematic release of the year in mid-February is almost certainly going to be their biggest box office disappointment in the shape of Captain America: Brave New World.
People are really downing on this film. I just don't know what to think about it. I mean, I have made a video on it, check it out. But in terms of like the whole debate on whether Sam is a good Captain America or is him being Captain America just based on his race, you know. People are saying it's gonna flop. I've heard that a lot, but that's just the areas I frequent. Maybe there's another side of the internet, side of the community that think it's gonna be sick, and there's lots of people excited for it that I don't frequent. They might have their opinion, but yeah, it's not looking good from what I've been hearing, what I've seen. But
now, I've already made an entire video going through that film's nightmarish production problems, but the high-level view is that it's a Captain America movie without Captain America, whose protagonist last appeared 4 years ago in a laughably bad TV show that saw him delivering social justice lectures and openly siding with international terrorists, led by possibly the least charismatic actress on the planet.
The terrorists only set us back a bit.
You have to stop calling them terrorists.
There were still people in there.
This is the only language these people understand.
Oh, they're confused.
A production constantly on the back foot, trying to keep up with a rapidly changing cultural landscape that's been delayed, reshot, rewritten, pulled apart and reassembled so many times that it makes the Justice League look like a paragon of creative efficiency, the end result of which is a production budget that's ballooned to at least $375 million that they'll admit to, meaning it's going to have to make well over $1 billion just to break even.
Fuck.
And no offense, but considering the total lack of interest online, not to mention releasing it into the February dumping ground, this thing ain't getting close to a...
it's for Black History Month, you know, because got to appeal to Black History Month because it's a black hero, and I guess that's, I don't know.
$1 billion. The next big, event of the year is Thunderbolts, which comes out in early May, the traditional slot for Marvel to kick off the summer movie season.
Man, I can't believe this is the big Marvel May, because you know when a Marvel movie comes out in May, it's like a big thing. Like, basically every Marvel movie was an event, even if it was just a singular hero. You know, it was an event. Remember when Iron Man 3 was coming out, when Winter Soldier was coming out? Man, hell, even flipping Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness was like, people were somewhat hyped, especially after No Way Home and No Way Home. But this feels like, I thought it was a TV show, and this is the big May movie. That's crazy.
It's billed as Marvel's
compare this to Wolverine and Deadpool.
Suicide Squad, minus the swearing, violence, adult humor, fun storylines, and charismatic characters, of course. Can't be taking creative risks now, can we, Kevin? Directed by a guy best known for doing one episode of Star Wars Skeleton Crew, and written by the creative genius who brought us Black Widow.
Uh-oh.
it truly is poised to be a movie of all time.
No.
Seriously though,
Black...
there's no particularly big
that's not a good
names in the
sign.
actors or the characters here, so I'm struggling to find out what the draw of this movie's meant to be. It honestly feels like it would have worked better as a TV show, sweeping up all the leftovers from other better projects.
Yeah, literally, I thought it was a TV show, man.
Into their own little side quest. As it stands, it came in at a relatively lean $150 million budget, so there's at least a decent chance it'll turn some kind of profit for the studio, but honestly, I can't see it making much of an impact at the box office. Then there's Ironheart coming to Disney Plus at the end of June, a TV show so exciting that Marvel have had it in the can for over 2 years now and still haven't released it. Because I think even they've begun to realise that...
Bro, the way they introduced this character was so stupid. Like, why are you making an Iron Man-like character? And then she doesn't even mention Tony Stark when you first see her. There's nothing to do with Tony Stark. Even in the comic that didn't do very well and a lot of people hated, she referenced Tony Stark. Tony Stark was her AI, you know. And then she doesn't even talk about him. Yet she's just doing everything he does. I never got that. I mean, I'm sure she's going to mention him in this. If they don't mention him in this, it'd be crazy. But I have no interest in watching this. If I do, it'll just be just to see the effects and how they work. And eventually I'll probably get bored of that because, you know, when it comes to Marvel television, they'll drag stuff out before you get to see the fun stuff. So if you don't like the characters or anything else, prepare to sleep.
Because I think even they've begun to realise that trying to replace one of the most beloved characters in the entire franchise with a race and gender swap teenage prodigy
that no one even knows. The last time we saw her was in Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. That was mid compared to the first one, at least in the perception of people. I mean, I love the music. I love some of the effects. I liked how they depicted Namor's strength, though I didn't really like the casting choice for Namor. That's about it. You know?
who's just so much better than him in every way, is an easy way to blow a couple of $100 million and piss off the whole fan base. Seriously though, from what I've been told by people on the inside, they absolutely know that this one's gonna be a fucking stinker. It was made in a very different time, and the cultural landscape has shifted so much since then.
It really has, man. Man's like, you know, a certain president just had an inauguration today, and people were cheering because he's decided to have male and female as the only gender that the government and I guess, you know, medical field in America wouldn't acknowledge, and that's supposed to be like a win. That should just be basic normal stuff, and then it really wakes people up to think, oh shit, that's a win? That should be basic normal stuff. And on top of that, TikTok was about to go bye-bye, and he's brought TikTok back. So, and people was already seeing him as some kind of pseudo hero for that. And then you're bringing this shit out that maybe it might have hit kinda in 2016 when people were caring about this performative stuff, but now the fans for this are dead silent. If they were ever existing in the first place.
Then that they've spent most of the past 2 years desperately looking for a way to Batgirl it. Unfortunately, just like the turd that's been held in too long, Marvel have no choice but to shit Ironheart out into the world and then try to flush it away as quickly as possible. It's just another expensive TV show that's unlikely to win them any new fans. After that, we've got the final big cinematic release of the year, Fantastic Four. A movie that feels like it's arrived a decade late to the party, starring perennial flavor of the month.
According to insiders and so on and word of mouth rumors, they literally casted Pedro Pascal because he was a kind of a race swap, but that also passes as white. That's crazy if that's true. Like, look that shit up. Like, apparently that's why they casted him, and obviously they cast him in everything as well, because they literally just looking specifically for like some kind of diversity checkbox, but they also knew they didn't want to piss off the fans, and they wanted to make it like accurate to, you know, the first family of fucking Marvel. You got to kind of do that accurately. So it was like, well, what the fuck do we do? I don't know, get someone that's white passing. That's crazy. And Pedro Pascal's already annoying in everything. I don't like his Joel, though I will admit it's better than the Ellie, and Ellie's accurately cast in terms of race anyway, but no, in terms of how she looks, hell the fuck no. But yeah, I don't like his casting in that. I liked him in Mandalorian because it's like an original character and it doesn't really matter, you know. But these race swaps, man, I can't deal with it. And I know people just don't care too much about this one. And I don't usually care if the guy looks the part, but he's probably going to be playing Ramon Richards rather than Reed Richards, like in terms of his culture and everything, because he's going to have that accent that somehow he never changes for any movie he's in, no matter what he's playing. I mean, I know he tried to do Southern in Last of Us, but it just sounded like a Mexican Southerner, you know. I don't know if Joel Miller was supposed to be a white dude or not in Last of Us. Anyway, yeah, I'm tired of Pedro, man. I liked it better when he was playing original characters and not race swaps and culture swaps of people.
Pedro Pascal, because of course it is, featuring a gender-swapped Silver Surfer, because of...
Well, she's in the comics, apparently, but then why would you use the less popular female version of the character when you have the actual Silver Surfer legend right here? It's like, how can we make less money? But the thing is, though, if they've got a plan for it, like, oh, we're going to use this female version because we're going to do something special with the guy that you know. Maybe you're going to bring Norrin Rad in, the original proper Silver Surfer, for something special, and this is going to be like a red herring. But I don't think they're doing anything. They might do it now because, you know, like Critical Drinker said, the cultural landscape is shifting. So forcing the strong, powerful woman in any way, shape or form, or any other thing, DEI type thing, isn't really on the cards right now because, you know, their pockets are starting to get a bit dry. So it'll be interesting to see what they're going to do with this, because this is something you do after you've already introduced Norrin Rad, or maybe you introduce them together. But I haven't heard no word about Norrin Rad, so...
Swapped Silver Surfer, because of course it does, and directed by the guy who brought us WandaVision after the original director backed out because he couldn't be arsed with superhero movies anymore. I'm with you on that one, mate. Yeah. I know Marvel comic fans are excited to see the Fantastic Four finally join the MCU, and that's just peachy. But be honest with yourselves, after the goofy Fox movies from the 2000s and...
I actually liked that movie, man. Not this one. Fuck that.
Honest with yourselves, after the goofy Fox...
I actually liked these two movies. They were fun. Like, the action was pretty badass. Silver Surfer was really ethereal and kind of intimidating and so otherworldly in a really cool way. Like, Marvel movies aren't even as good as this now, you know, and this was like laughed at back then.
Movies from the 2000s and whatever the fuck Josh Trank
thought. This was absolute dog shit. It was fantastic dog shit.
Making. Do you really think general audiences are going to get pumped up about a third iteration of the Fantastic Four? Do you really think the Marvel brand, not to mention the entire superhero genre, is strong enough to support a cookie cutter superhero flick like this? I could be wrong on this one, but I just can't see a Fantastic Four movie in 2025 being the massive deal that they seem to think it is. By all accounts, Marvel are quietly shitting themselves at the prospect of this film going head to head with James Gunn's Superman, and quite frankly, they should be. I know which movie I'd rather watch, and
Yep, agreed. I'd rather see this. If you saw my reaction, I put it up somewhere. I enjoyed this way better than anything that Marvel's going to be doing right now. This has got me hyped. I know the Fantastic Four trailer's not been released yet, but we'll see. Pedro Pascal's just massively putting me off. He just horribly miscast recently as Joel and as Reed Richards. I'm not even sure I like the Johnny Storm casting. I know the actor's really good in Stranger Things, but like, I don't know. You know when you got your vision for something.
I suspect I'm not alone in that. There's also a bunch of animated shows coming out on Disney Plus that nobody is ever going to give a shit about, and Wonder Man at the end of the year that's apparently meant to be some kind of...
Why? This guy is... I swear he plays the most race-swapped characters out. He played Dr. Manhattan. He's playing Wonder Man now. I know he took over from Morpheus, but it's like, why would you change Morpheus? It made sense in the story, I guess. This guy's trying to be the king of race swaps, and I don't know why you'd race swap Wonder Man. I guess he's a kind of lesser known character, but this wasn't the time to do it. You might have got away with this 10 years ago.
Self-aware meta comedy about superheroes made by the same studio that gave us She-Hulk. But hey, at least it's not all bad. The trailer for Daredevil Born Again actually looks promising, and as long as they don't fuck it up, they might actually have the start of a decent new series on their hands. That's great and everything, but it's not like Daredevil's gonna save the MCU single-handed. One successful show on Disney Plus is not gonna reverse the general trend for this year, and based on everything I've seen so far, that trend is not looking good. I've heard it said that the higher-ups at Marvel are very much aware that the franchise has gone off the rails in recent years, with an oversaturated market, declining quality, superhero fatigue and preachy activist writing all knocking holes in the mighty MCU. But before they can really fix the problem, there's a whole bunch of other projects in the pipeline that were too far.
I don't believe in superhero fatigue, man. I honestly think you could keep going with superheroes. I just think they've just been making these movies really, really badly, and they just have been focusing on the wrong things, and we all know what that is. Don't need to flip and break the record right now.
To cancel or rework, kind of like all those shitty DC movies before James Gunn took over, and so there's not much option but to just release them, take the hit in the short term, and then hopefully move on to better prospects later. It's a nice idea in theory, but it does mean a shitty year for Marvel fans who haven't exactly been drowning in quality recently, and a very expensive series of failures for the company that has to make them, and it does make me wonder if there's even going to be enough fans left over to care when the good stuff finally comes around again. Marvel might just find that their course correction is too little too late. Anyway, that's all I've got for today.
Okay.
One of the things
He's in a good mood, I guess. So, what do you guys think? Do you think Marvel's course correction is too late? It might be. Is anyone excited for Avengers Doomsday? I mean, I'm sure there's some shills and some fanboys that are excited, but it's nothing. The vibe is nothing like when it was coming up to Infinity War and Endgame, man. That was a different time. It feels like a parallel universe right now. Like, there's nothing cohesive at all going into Doomsday. Maybe that can change. I can't remember when Doomsday is exactly supposed to come out. When is it coming out? Anyway. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell for notifications, and I'll see you again soon. Peace.